Hello, this is Christian Lakes, and I will be doing my positionality assignment in the form of a short video. I just thought it'd be a nice way to mix things up. We do a lot of writing as educators, and I think it's important to do different forms of assessment, so I appreciate this opportunity to do it via a little video. So, as mentioned, my name is Christian Lakes. I was born in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and I currently live in Wolfville, just up the road from Acadia, which is really shaped my life in the sense of I love Wolfville. I love it being a small town. It's a very close knit community, and I think that sense of community is something that we can extend to when it talks about equity for Indigenous peoples, because I think community really comes is a core tenet of their culture. So I think that's a big part of it for me as well. Um, yeah, I grew up in Nova Scotia, and it has really shaped my values. I really just think that I'm a rural guy. I like nature. It's really important to me. My home is a very uh, green place, and it's all solar powered because it's very important. The respect for nature and alternate energy is a big part of my family's upbringing. So yeah, I just think that's a big part of it too. And again, kind of try to relate that to Indigenous societies and Indigenous peoples. Um, yeah, I was born in Halifax, as mentioned, and one of the questions was about the body of water that was closest to you, and this actually led me to discover something I did not know, and that's the name for the Halifax Harbor in Mi'kmaq, which is Kivjuktuk, which means Great Harbor. So that was something that kind of struck me because I've seen the harbor my whole life, and it's always been the Halifax Harbor, but of course it's been a Halifax Harbor to me and to settlers since then. But way before that, it was this. It was Kajuktuk. So I think that's a very profound moment for me. Just that feeling of smallness of that is, it's been something longer than I've or my ancestors have been here. So I think that's very important in a big acknowledgement. Um, that being said, excuse me, we are also, it asks about the land we are currently residing. We are on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people, which I did know, of course. And yeah, I just think that's something it's very profound. I've worked with multiple communities and reserves, including Glooskap and the Silly Boy family, who have been really good teachers in the sense of cultural and relevance in this day and age of Indigenous cultures and people. So that's been very special for me and the people in my community. One of his daughters goes to King's Edgell, so we've had a lot of communication with them. That being said, the treaties I know we are aware of course, is the Peace and Friendship Treaties signed in 1725 and in 1779. I always have trouble with treaties because I think it's really easy to write things, but not really easy to execute on them. So while I do think it's important to have these treaties and these written documents, I think what's more important is action. So yeah, it's good to know about them, good to understand them, but I think what I really care about is action and how people treat Indigenous people in the land. So, excuse me, I think that's something I always not jaded, but like always aware of is that it's very again we're really good in our society at writing things down, but it's just that actual action that really speaks to me, whether it be environmental, Indigenous, or respect in general. So that's a big part of it. This also made me look into my history, of course, my family's history. So my dad's side's Irish and my mom's side's English and Scottish. It's really interesting because my dad's side, the Irish side, I know we came over, we were actually displaced due to the potato famine in Ireland, which led people to evacuate due to mass famine and death. So we were refugees, and it's just ironic how desperate people take things. And that was something that hit me. Like, we were people just wanting a new life, but at what cost? And that, of course, coming over in the 17th century, the people that were suffered were the Indigenous people. And I remember hearing stories. One thing that always struck me about first contact and settler integration into the Americas was how welcoming many Indigenous tribes were to settlers, and that always made me really emotional and sad because that welcome was repaid by, in most cases, violence and death. And whether that be through disease or actual physical violence, that's something that really strikes me because like they meant really well a lot of the times, Indigenous tribes. And yeah, it just makes me very sad to think of what came of it and the culture that they lost their people and their culture almost entirely, you know, through that. So yeah, very profound. And my mom's side is also from England, so we have a very extensive family tree on that side. So very proud of it, but also very mindful of it because of its origins and what it costs to come over here. So that's a big part of it. Yeah. So my intentions are already at 5 minutes. So my intention is really working at an international boarding school, which being King's Edgell is. I think I have a unique opportunity with many different cultures and groups that all have to work and live together and be respectful. So I kind of experience that every day. I would like to integrate more of Indigenous culture in our school, and we have a good start, but I'd like to see more Indigenous students as well. I've had the privilege of teaching some, but I'd like to see more through potentially getting more bursaries or scholarships or just general awareness of Indigenous cultures and people coming to a school. Of course, there's connotations being a boarding school, residential schools. I've had discussions with Indigenous students about it, and I think it's good that the students that have come from an Indigenous background have really enjoyed it for the most part, and I think that's because we're trying to change that standard of like what a lot of scars and wounds from the past about a boarding school connotation for Indigenous people, but it's not that anymore. It's much more welcoming and open place, and we have very proud art by the Silly Boys right in the main hall of the school, which is a good reminder of our roots of where we are, and for those cultures coming to us to see the culture of Canada, because culture of Canada isn't just white Anglo-Saxon culture; it's Indigenous culture, which was here long before us. That and the last thing I'll mention is just I got the fortune of going to watch the Thunderbirds play, which is lacrosse, of course, and many proud Indigenous members of that team. And yeah, it was just profound to watch that. I've never been a big hockey guy. I feel like I connected more with lacrosse. So yeah, it was a good moment just of like that is one of our national sports, of course. I wanted that to hockey and lacrosse, and very important. Anyway, see, I'm at 7 minutes already. I could keep going, but I think it's important to wrap up. To our class, I just want to keep bringing my perspective of working at an international boarding school, and I really want to, yeah, just keep being positive and a voice of positivity, no matter who you are, what student you are, what background, Indigenous or not. And I think that's what's important. So that it's all about being kind and being positive. It's so easy to be kind, and so it takes so much energy to be not. So I never understood that. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I'm going to make this in the form of a YouTube video and send you the link. Okay, thank you.